Tonight on To The Point.
I'm very happy that Superintendent Thurmond has gotten involved.
The Sacramento City Unified School District running out of money. How the state's top school official is now stepping in. The debate over voter ID. The arguments for and against Proposition 39 heating up. A new state rule could be raising tire prices. By some state leaders approved it. And a billion-dollar fight over social media and kids. California accusing Meta of using addictive features. Tonight, Meta's response. Tonight, a possible turning point for Sacramento City Unified as it races to avoid running out of cash. Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. State Superintendent Tony Thurmond is now stepping in directly, posting about a meeting that he called productive, but also tough. ABC10's Becca Habegger has been tracking this fight for weeks. Becca.
Yeah, Alex, think of Thurmond as the mediator in a high-stakes negotiation. On one side, Sac City Unified trying to dig out of a financial hole without asking the state for an emergency loan. On the other, the Sacramento County Office of Education, which took over fiscal oversight when the crisis hit and has clashed with the district for weeks now. Thurmond's latest statement doesn't end that fight, but it does leave the door open. Productive conversations continued today as we brought the district and county Office of Education together to work toward fiscal solutions. The discussions can be tough at times, but both sides remain at the table and focused on a path forward. That's State Superintendent Tony Thurmond posting on X Monday evening. The latest sign he's playing referee between Sac City Unified and the Sacramento County Office of Education, SCOE, as the district tries climbing out of a deep financial hole.
I'm very happy that Superintendent Thurmond has gotten involved.
Nikki Davis-Malevsky leads the Sacramento City Teachers Association, a union that has found itself squarely in the middle of the SCOE district dispute. Here's how we got here. July 30th, the district's Board of Education approves a deal with the teachers union to extend the existing contract in exchange for freeing up nearly $100 million for the district, a third of it by tapping a retiree health fund to be repaid later. One day later, SCOE's fiscal advisor rejects the agreement, warning it ties the district's hands long term and would only delay the district's impending insolvency by a few weeks while making a real recovery harder. August 4th, the board fires back, a unanimous vote asking Thurmond to overturn the rejection and to formally declare SCOE ineffective in this process. A week later, Thurmond denies the appeal, but he also says he believes the district's deal with the union, also called an MOU, would actually help the district's finances and tells both sides to keep talking. Since stepping in, Thurmond's office has met with the district and SCOE multiple times, including Monday, and Thurmond's post suggests he's still backing that MOU, at least the retiree health fund piece, writing that the district has an opportunity to secure $67 million, but adding additional work must also be done to reduce the long-term deficit. A district spokesperson tells ABC10 it's still engaged in conversations with SCOE and the California Department of Education regarding the MOU and its status. SCOE says it continues to work diligently with the district to assist them in avoiding insolvency. We want them to regain financial health and long-term fiscal stability. Meanwhile, Malevsky says she's happy the district has a new chief business officer crunching the numbers.
We just got our new CBO that we hired in place, literally less than 2 weeks ago. So we're all looking forward to what we hear from him this next Thursday.
Thursday is the board's next meeting, the next checkpoint in this financial reckoning. And the clock is real. Fiscal experts now estimate the district runs out of cash by April if nothing changes, which means the board is hunting for more cuts and more income. The board already approved a $158 million fiscal sustainability plan last month. On Thursday, we find out how that plan is holding up and how much more cash the district still needs to find to stay solvent.
And your voice, your vote. There are 77 days until the November election, when Californians will, of course, elect a new governor and decide on 14 statewide propositions. One of them we've been talking about, Prop 39. It would require voters to show government-issued identification when voting in person and the last 4 digits of a government-issued ID on the outside of a voter's ballot when voting by mail. So today, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla and other Democratic leaders, they urge voters to reject the measure. They say that it could make voting more difficult, increase the risk of identity theft, and cost taxpayers millions of dollars. Today, Senator Padilla also calling out President Donald Trump.
That's why we're fighting Prop 39. Donald Trump knows that he and his party are going to pay the price in these midterm elections because not just voters, the American public is increasingly aware and increasingly hurting from his rampant corruption.
And supporters of the measure argue that they are not trying to prevent anybody from voting, but they want to improve trust in elections.
Only people who are against this law are people up here in Sacramento, insiders, but we're not reinventing the wheel here. More than half this country has voter ID laws. In fact, the states that actually do it actually have higher voter participation. And almost any country around the world that has democracy has identification laws in order to vote.
And right now, 36 U.S. states have laws that request or require voters to show some form of identification at in-person polling places. Mail-in ballots are verified through other procedures such as signature matching. California is one of 8 states that mails ballots to all registered voters. The race for Congressional District 6 continues to heat up tonight as Democratic candidate Dr. Richard Pan released a new website attacking his opponent, independent Congressman Kevin Kiley. The website calls Kiley a career Republican and consistently siding with President Trump, despite leaving the GOP earlier this year to be an independent. Pan's page says Kiley voted to cut health care from Californians, supported high costs for seniors, and opposed abortion rights protections. ABC 10 spoke to Richard Pan about that today.
People need to understand his record. He wants to try to distance himself from his record. I worked hard on my record to be sure we delivered for the people of California, being sure we got health care to 4 million more Californians while he is stripping health care away, right? I worked to help lower medication costs.
Kiley first released a website shortly after the June primary attacking Pan's record in the state legislature and his role during the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, we reached out to Kiley in response to Pan's website today. A spokesperson for Kiley provided ABC 10 with a statement that says, in part, quote, Richard Pan's approach of more partisanship and more gridlock is why Sacramento voters just rejected his campaign for mayor, why he was forced to end his campaign for the 3rd Congressional District, and why his campaign for the 6th District is faring no better as voters of all parties unite behind Representative Kiley's campaign. All right, stay with us. Still a lot more to get to, like new rules in California. They could be coming to change the tires that drivers buy and why it could cost you a little bit more. And $1 billion legal battle over social media and kids, the case against Meta and how the company is fighting back.
And tomorrow's likely the warmest day this week, with temperatures about 5 or more degrees warmer than normal. But we're back towards seasonal by the end of the week. I've got a full look at the forecast after the break.
But first, another headlines tonight. President Trump's approval rating has hit a new low. A new Reuters Ipsos poll released Monday finds 33% of Americans approve of his job performance. That's down 2 points from earlier this month and ties his lowest rating during his first term. The drop comes as Americans express concern about war with Iran. Disney filed a federal lawsuit today against the FCC over First Amendment rights. The complaint alleges the agency waged a retaliatory campaign against the Disney-owned ABC television network because the Trump administration doesn't like what it airs. While ABC 10 is affiliated with ABC, the station is not owned by Disney. And ZZ Top drummer Frank Beard has died. A spokesperson for the band says he died while in hospice care at his ranch in Texas. Beard played with ZZ Top for 56 years, but had to stop touring earlier this month because of health issues. His death leaves ZZ Top founder Billy Gibbons as the only remaining member of the original band. All right, Brendan, I see on the graphic behind you, we're a little bit warmer than what we saw this weekend. Is that trend going to keep going, or are we going to cool down as we get closer to the weekend?
Yeah, well, through tomorrow, we're going to continue to keep warming, but then we'll go the other direction as we get back towards the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be cooler than what we saw today. 95 this afternoon, Sacramento, 95 Stockton, 95 in Modesto, 84 Truckee, 83 in Tahoe, just a little warmer than normal across Northern California. 3 degrees warmer than normal means a red box for Sacramento today on the calendar. This weekend, 85 Saturday, 93 on Sunday. So yeah, it's warmer today, noticeably warmer, and tomorrow will be even a touch warmer than what we saw this afternoon. 93 Sacramento, 92 in Elk Grove, 94 Stockton, 94 in Modesto right now, 86 in Placerville. some 70s and 80s up in the high country. Winds right now not real strong, about 5 to 10 miles per hour across the valley, and that'll be the case through the next couple days as well, where we don't have a real strong delta breeze in the evening. So we'll continue to see a little bit of heat through the evening hours. Still in the 80s by 8 o'clock tonight, still 80 degrees at 9 o'clock. Then we'll drop into the 70s. 60s from midnight onwards. And we'll see some clouds moving through once again. Wednesday morning starting off at 61 Sacramento, about 61 in Stockton, 65 Modesto, 60s and 70s in the foothills, and some mid-40s up in the high country. Again, clouds through the evening and overnight hours, but we'll see some clearing once again tomorrow with mostly sunny skies expected by Wednesday afternoon. So a hotter day tomorrow, probably the hottest day this week. 96 in Sacramento, about 97 Stockton, 98 in Modesto. We see a few triple digits on the map. The model's running a little bit warmer than I expect, but still definitely upper 90s to about 100 across the valley tomorrow. 91 Nevada City, 93 in Placerville, 98 Angels Camp, 97 Sonora, and some mid-upper 80s near Tahoe. High pressure starts to move off to the east once again, though, as we go towards the end of this week, so that'll bring our temperatures back down towards seasonal. Over the next 5 days in the foothills, we're looking at temperatures in the mid-90s, then low 90s. For the high country, some mid-80s, then low 80s as we get to the weekend. And in the valley, some mid-upper 90s tomorrow, mid-90s again on Thursday. Then we're back to seasonal in the upper 80s and low 90s from Friday through the weekend. And most of next week looks pretty nice as well in the upper 80s and low 90s. Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Right after the break, a new California rule is changing the kind of tires that drivers can buy. The arguments for and against this change. And a flock camera helped track down an armed robbery suspect just hours before the cameras were shut off. What was behind the decision? A new state policy could raise the price of tires starting in 2029. California is now the first in the nation to regulate the sale of replacement tires. ABC 10 political reporter Jenny Huh has more on why some state leaders passed this.
The state's going to make the decision. In the long run, it's only going to come back to the consumer.
Eli Montero is the lead mechanic at a local Sacramento tire and auto repair shop. Montero says the replacement tire efficiency standard just approved by California will force businesses like his to buy new compliant tires. Those costs will be passed on to consumers.
The way they want to change things up so quickly is a little harsh on the pocket.
But some state energy leaders are pitching the standard as a way for Californians to save nearly $1 billion yearly in gas and electricity while simultaneously reducing carbon emissions.
Given the gas prices of the last, few years, we felt like we really need to act on this. We need to give our consumers some relief. If we can get better fuel efficiency from our cars, then we cut tailpipe emissions, which means air is cleaner instantly.
And so starting in 2029, all replacement tires sold for passenger vehicles and light-duty trucks in California must have the same fuel efficiency as the original tires with which you drive off the lot, meaning they must be designed to offer the same mileage and range.
We're ensuring that you're going to get that same fuel efficiency. So really, all we're doing is helping consumers.
The CEC says that means 70% of current tires will have to be modified by 2033. The agency says in Phase 1, consumers will pay about $6 more for a set of tires, but save about $85 in gas over a life of a set of tires. And in Phase 2, about $26 more per set and $179 in savings. But opponents say at the end of the day, Californians pay more.
Up here, they said there was an affordability crisis. They would tackle the affordability crisis. What happened to that?
State Senator Tony Strickland is vice chair of the Senate Transportation Committee. Back in 2003, he also voted no on AB 844, the bill that allowed the California Energy Commission to establish these replacement tire efficiency standards. In June, Strickland and a bipartisan group of legislators urged a delay in the implementation of the replacement tire efficiency program, noting shortfalls in cost effectiveness, among other concerns.
In our 50-year history of doing energy efficiency standards at the California Energy Commission, we've never done a standard that did not have some industry opposition. But we have to make decisions that are in the best interest of the public.
Jenny Huh, ABC 10.
For lawmakers who remain concerned, like Strickland, it's unclear if they may try to counter the CEC timeline via legislative efforts. There are some notable exceptions for tires, used tires, motorcycle tires, and specialty tires as well. So we'll keep following this. All right, flock cameras helped track down an armed robbery suspect just hours before those cameras were shut off because of public outcry. The alleged crime happened at a gas station in Colfax. The suspect was tracked down in neighboring Grass Valley. So this happened a week ago around 1 o'clock o'clock in the morning when a store clerk at a Chevron off Canyon Way was robbed at gunpoint. Deputies with the Placer County Sheriff's Office responded to the armed robbery, and an alert went out to surrounding agencies using the suspect's license plate number and the flock system. Officers did determine that the car involved was last seen pulling into a gas station in Grass Valley, which is where 19-year-old Joshua Pollan was arrested. The Grass Valley police captain says this was the last time their flock system was used before being shut down.
I believe it was that night. We had a city council meeting on the 11th, and the administration as a whole had decided to end our ALPR program because of data privacy concerns and because of the widespread community discomfort with the system.
Blakemore says all cameras in the city of Grass Valley have been taken down, but he says that doesn't mean that good old-fashioned investigative police work isn't going to continue. They do plan to work with business owners and their community to follow up on crimes. Opening statements began in a major federal case concerning social media and children. Meta is accused of designing dangerous and addictive products for young users. Meta says that the claims are unsubstantiated. Here's ABC's Mike Dubowski with more.
Parents, children, and online safety advocates outside a courthouse in Oakland, California today demanding accountability from social media companies.
It is time that the public see what the executives at Meta have known all along, that their products are designed to addict and to harm children.
Inside court, 4 state attorneys general are arguing that certain features on Instagram and Facebook have negatively impacted the company's customers, especially children. The lawsuit, originally filed by more than 30 states in 2023, says Meta used, quote, powerful and unprecedented technologies to keep young people engaged on the platforms for as long as possible. According to California Attorney General Rob Bonta, it resulted in, quote, physical and mental harm, and that the company's actions exploited our most vulnerable residents to boost corporate profits.
And just like we talk about products like cars or cigarettes, they're making similar arguments as to the fact that Meta knew and continued this practice of very dangerous and addictive products.
In a statement to ABC News, a Meta spokesperson said, quote, we strongly disagree with these allegations and are confident the evidence will show our long-standing commitment to supporting young people. Meta calls these claims unsubstantiated, adding in a statement this is an attempt to penalize Meta for industry-wide challenges like age verification. Meta is estimating that financial penalties in this case could total $1.4 trillion, which they call vastly disproportionate. Meta is currently appealing 2 previous cases it had lost in New Mexico and California that had similarly targeted features like push notifications and infinite scrolling, claiming they had harmful impacts on children.
Meta also revealed it spent $2.4 billion on legal expenses alone in the second quarter of this year, and last month revealed a rare decline in profits. The trial is expected to last about 6 weeks. Mike Dubowski, ABC News, New York.
In your price points, you might want to check your mailbox. State Farm Auto Insurance will mail out 3.8 million dividend checks this week. The payments are part of a $5 billion financial payout that will go to policyholders of 49 million vehicles. Now, State Farm customers eligible for a refund are those who had a policy between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2025. The average refund, about $100 a vehicle. More than 7 million checks have already been mailed since payments began on July 31st. Bankrupt Spirit Airlines still has something to offer, and look, Google wants it. The tech giant says that it is buying Spirit's massive trove of data to help improve its artificial intelligence models. The $10 million deal includes internal emails, spreadsheets, booking and frequent flyer information, transactions, and employee data. Google says the data has been stripped of information that could identify individual people. A bankruptcy judge is expected to rule on the Spirit Google deal tomorrow. All right, before we go here, tomorrow state and community leaders will be coming together for the annual Tahoe Summit. This is the 30th year for the event that was started by the late Dianne Feinstein. It's a chance to look at the progress made to restore the Tahoe Basin over the last 3 decades. There will also be discussions about future challenges and how the area has changed 5 years since the Caldor fire. Congressional members from California and Nevada are scheduled to attend, and of course, our To The Point team and ABC 10 team will be there as always. Thank you so much for watching, for always inviting us into your home. Please, 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 if you have something you think we should be looking into or you just have follow-up questions. I know we keep talking about Prop 39 and this election right around the corner. So if you have any questions, reach out to our team at to-the-point@abc10.com. Have a great night. I will see you back here tomorrow.